Okay. Then navigating over to live. Slash user for random butterfly one live, yes. And Splunk. Now I have a list of promo channels to list it all on.
And doop. I probably should have saved this before. New. So, you know what? I'm going 4K resolution. And I always do as many pixels as possible, if it'll let me. Let's see. What would the file name be? Yeah. Too many. Okay, sorry. Hold up. Okay, good. It's not showing the save path.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's something to be careful of.
Yeah.
Meow meow meow.
There we go. And my screen. No, how dare you? Oh no, it crashed. Gosh darn you.
Technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties. At least I've got something for it to kind of focus on. Oh, how nice of it of Clip Studio to crash. So I'll prep this again.
All right.
Okay. Waiting on it. Okay, there it goes.
Testing sound.
Okay. So.
All right. Looks like we're working.
Yeah.
Everything's looking good. Just pop out the chat here.
So,
Warble, warble.
what
That
kind
works.
of timing are we working on? Afternoon,
Timing?
evening?
Um, let's do midday, like just summer sun. I'm not really sure if we'll have seasons, but something like a bright summer sunny day.
Mm-hmm. I like this paintbrush, this particular one, because it has a really neat little effect. Hold up.
Mm, yeah. It's got some scribble going on.
Although, it may have been a mistake doing a 4K image on a stream. It's okay. It's okay.
All right.
Some
When in
line.
doubt, mount your phone so that the phone camera points at the screen, and then live stream that way.
Oh goodness, no! I do have a nice webcam, too.
Ah, yeah. You did some IRL painting with that, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, that way you'd have one computer to focus on the drawing and one computer to focus on the streaming.
Mm-hmm.
I know some people do that with their game stream setups. They'll have two computers lined up side by side, and one of them will do the game capture and rough compositing before sending the video data to the second computer, which does all the post processing and mixing and
I'm
sending it over to the
doing a lazy
website.
bit here, but
Oh yeah, I wouldn't begrudge someone from using the fill tool.
oh, I know, but still.
So now that I have the chat popped out, I can max out the video size with theater mode. Got some subtle sky effects.
Yeah. Very subtle, but alright, so in terms of the background, what are we looking for?
Um, Now that I'm not totally sure. I want some greenery, of course, because that always makes a nice, a pleasant to look at landscape.
Mm-hmm.
And then stuff to jump on, stuff to that'll make just running around a lot of fun. Maybe some weird, like maybe some kind of mystery, like a cave or a building. What could be inside? That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some water, something to swim around, some water to swim around in.
Basically a giant natural playground.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that every area of our game would be a giant natural playground to some degree. Thinking about like the areas in Super Mario RPG
Mm-hmm.
where like right after the castle or right after like when you start seeing under the Midas waterfall, under
Mm-hmm.
the Midas River waterfall, areas around there. Like it was all in isometric view, but they still got you to do some jumping around. It's not just a 2D maze. There's things to jump on or things to jump under.
Yeah.
There's little tunnely areas.
Trying to kind of get a field view kind of deal here.
All right.
You know, might as well try to make it as vast as I can.
Okay. Hello, Lundrigan Games. Every location needs monkey bars and the tic-tac-toe with spinners. You know, funny you mention that. One of the landscape features that I kind of want to see if I can do is just like these random little hexagon tiles on the ground that you could either like punch or ground pound or something and they'll flip over. And like the way that they're arranged or the way that they occur in the world will form some kind of natural puzzle that you can solve.
Mm.
Or just, you know, something to play with, like you flip them over and you get an item or something like that, like a naturally occurring treasure chest.
Like the random stuff that you'll find in Diablo, like piles of goo that you can kick open to get treasure. These will be a little bit more video gamey in that sense. A hexagon-shaped spinning tile on the ground that you hit with something and it flips over and gives you some treasure, pops out some treasure.
Trying to figure this out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the motif of the world is to some degree bubbles and to some degree hexagons.
Bubbles and hexagon tree. Well, I don't know how that
Hexagon bubbles.
hexagon trees.
Ah.
But I'm not sure how this is going to work. Hexagon.
Yeah.
Wait.
Let me think. We don't have hexagon polyhedra, do we?
Maybe as you get closer, the trees have more of a hexagon shape, but it looks natural.
Yeah.
Like the leaves are kind of that. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, hexagon. That's yeah. Okay, one less than a stop. Well, two less than a stop sign. My brain. It's been a crazy week.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not the kind of thing we teach our kids how to draw. We teach our kids how to draw squares and triangles, but not really hexagons that much.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, we don't even teach our kids how to draw like equilateral triangles to any degree, even though we can approximate drawing a square pretty easy because it has its own name. A square is equilateral, quadrilateral. But well, an equilateral quadrilateral that isn't a rhombus. But yeah, like we don't really teach our kids to draw equilateral triangles that easily. It's something they would have to figure out on their own. If they draw an equilateral triangle, then stick 6 of them together, and you got yourself an equilateral hexagon.
Trying to sketch this out to kind of, because I want to have a good field of depth.
Now I have in my head, the clip of Nostalgia Critic shouting, "Fracking bubbles." Well, good. If I'm annoying the Nostalgia Critic, all the better. I heard some stuff about that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I remember there was a while where I would just follow nothing but like YouTuber drama to see like, I mean, it's always a little bit cathartic to see the big people fall. Which is, I mean, it's kind of weird saying like I want to be one of the big people, but I want to do it in a way that makes me like, I don't want to have a way to fall, like, you know, I don't want to get there doing way. Yeah, I don't want to get to the big spot in a way like doing unethical things, doing illegal things.
Yeah, unsavory things or
unsavory things, yeah. And I don't want to believe that that's the only way to get there, to get to success.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely not. It's just some people don't think things through or probably get the fame brushed to their heads or something.
Yeah.
Ooh, bubble clouds.
Oh yeah, natural staircases are good. Yeah, for sure. One of the classifications of items, of usable items in this game, will be in the form of marbles and orbs, which I'm going to, like, in-game lore, I'm probably just gonna try and categorize as a subset of bubbles. But yeah, an easy way to carry a whole lot of usable items is to have them just compress into little marbles. Which I guess is also kind of a throwback to the old Zelda cartoon. Like every time Link gets an item and he puts it in that pouch, it always shrinks down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in some cases there are scenes where he pulls like a pair of boomerangs out of the pouch, and they're still in small size and you can see them in his hand. And I think that adds a lot of lore. Adds a lot of lore to the world.
Have a waterfall, like, from this mountaintop, and instead of just mist bubbles are coming out from it too.
Oh yeah, of course.
Could have like a pink lake here or something.
Maybe. Although I don't want things to look too soapy because there is actually
Okay,
um, a soap themed thing that I'd like to introduce later on.
fair, fair. Okay.
Chasing trendy topics. Landrigan Games says chasing trendy topics is another way to get fame, and then you'll get your "they used to be great" video once you're no longer able to keep up with trends. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe. Like there's the angry video game nerd, and I don't know. I wouldn't say he was chasing trends. He was more like he was the trend maker. But people aren't really into like the angry video game bloggers anymore, and but they'll still watch AVGN's videos.
Mm-hmm.
There was some drama around him, but the drama wasn't about him. The drama was about one of the people he associated with.
Mm.
And even then, I don't think it was like so bad as to get them canceled because, well, I'm not really sure. Like stuff has like drama type activity has died down around him, so the drama itself has become hazy, at least in my memory.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's still doing his thing. Not only is he just doing his thing, he's also doing his other thing, which is like Chainsaw Massacre type of movies, covering Chainsaw Massacre type movies and board games as well.
Mm.
Like one of the last things I saw out of the guy, as just it was either a board James sketch or like a one of James Rolfe's other channels. But he was doing a horror skit about the Mandela effect,
Oh, yeah.
specifically about how people remember the Berenstain Bears.
Yes, I do remember, like, people saying it's Bearstein, no, it's Berenstein.
Yeah, whether it's AIN or EIN.
I really don't remember offhand.
I remember seeing the books, but I don't remember getting into them. Like my thing back then, I remember really being into The Little Prince, Hello Kitty when it was on, because I remember it being kind of difficult to catch in my area.
Hmm.
Lots of Ninja Turtles, Samurai Pizza Cats, Dragon Ball when it was on. That was just
Yeah.
before I knew what anime was.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a cartoon that was weird because you had to see the previous episode and
Yeah.
you wanted to see the next episode.
Oh my gosh, all those that 5 minute battle with Frieza.
No, this was Dragon Ball before Z,
Oh,
the original.
okay.
So it was more travel than fighting.
Oh yeah, that's right. I've got to say,
Going
I
around
like
seeing the world.
the amount of adventure in that anime,
Yeah.
but I will say it does not hold up as well in some areas.
Yeah. Like I just remember certain scenes from the original Dragon Ball, but Dragon Ball Z has gone on
Oh
for
my
so long and
gosh.
repeated in so many ways
Yeah.
that that you can't not remember more of that one than
Yeah.
the original Dragon Ball.
I like, although I really miss characters like Launch and Oolong and even who was it? Yamcha
Yamcha,
being
yeah.
being relevant.
The young, yeah, the younger Yamcha and Bulma,
Hmm.
and if I recall, the Ox
Tien.
King and Chi Chi just had one scene, didn't they?
They had
At
a
least in the
few, like,
all right. Like the episodes that showed on in my area YTV, they only got up to the first wish. They only got episodes up to the first wish.
the
So I
world's
never got
most
to meet
comfortable
Krillin.
pair of underwear.
Yeah. He wishes for what was it? Pilaf is standing there and he gets as far as I wish for Supreme.
Yeah.
And then Oolong kicks him away and yells, "Underwear!"
Yeah.
So yeah, he gets Supreme underwear.
Surprisingly not branded with just a little red logo.
The strawberry.
Well, I was joking at the whole Supreme branding.
Oh,
I'm trying to do.
Barnstein, of course. Is that the Makes me wonder if that was like now I gotta look it up.
The Mandela effect is real.
Mhm. Let's see. Brenstein. If I just do a search for that word, let's see what happens.
My money's on you're gonna find lots of conspiracy theories.
Oh, trying to joke there's both A and E simultaneously. Oh, there were the names of the authors too.
Hmm.
I guess that makes it important. This
Yep.
is not just a made up name.
I think what I'll do with this is I have a rock painting tool. Basically, it
Ah,
has rock texture, and what I can do is I have a skewing like perspective thing. So
hmm.
let's see. I could just
Like a perspective tool?
let me demonstrate.
Okay.
Okay, so if I go here and distort, or even skew, but
Alright, I see you going to left there. Whoa, whoa. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm familiar with that tool.
yeah.
There's one in GIMP. I believe it's called, I think it's called the multi-distort or something like that.
Hmm.
But yeah, you can either stretch and skew, you can apply perspective effects.
Yep. Perspective. Okay.
Billboarding, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I guess you have a, was it a rock paintbrush or a stamp?
It's a paint brush tool, more or less.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I remember you and Phoenix both were talking about the various paintbrush tools in this in Clip Studio.
yep, and the options that you can download, which
Hmm. I think I tried experimenting a little bit with GIMP's custom paint tools. I didn't really get very far into it, but I managed to make like a little a gem brush, I think, where you could paint a little rainbow of gems anywhere. You can bedazzle anything.
trying to see if
A
I have it
bedazzle brush.
up here.
Uh-huh.
Probably be my flora and fauna kind of area here.
Hmm.
Maybe. Oh, rocks. There we
Whoa.
go.
Oh, it's all. Hmm.
It's valued by what you have in your color
Okay.
wheel here,
Hmm.
and I like to change it up with different textures and whatnot.
Ah, okay. So yeah, when you pile them on like that, they actually kind of they kind of they look like they look natural.
Yeah, and then you could also do different sizes, of course.
Hmm. I was looking at the paintbrushes there and seeing that a bunch of them were in Japanese. I'm like, oh, can you read that? But then I saw the rock brushes actually says rocks.
Yeah, some of them I renamed because I really
Yeah,
can't read
'cause you gotta.
Japanese.
Yeah, yeah.
And others I'm
Especially like
lazy.
if it was well, I mean, if it was hiragana or katakana, I mean, those are a little bit easier to learn, but they'd still take a class to learn. Like I took a class in Japanese and I learned my hiragana and katakana. I did not learn my kanji. I learned the tiniest little bit of kanji from playing Pokemon
Mm-hmm.
and playing Ninja Gaiden. Because yeah, Pokemon teaches you the kanji for big.
Mm-hmm.
With the every time a Pokemon uses the shoot, I forget the name of the move. It uses a fire move, and the ultimate fire move. Every time it uses it, the fire fans out in the shape of the kanji for big.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to call the move Big Fire, but I know it's not Big Fire.
Oh,
Not
come
in
on.
English,
In your
anyway.
heart, you know it's big fire.
What was the fire move that you only get five uses of?
I don't remember.
It's not Sacred Fire.
I'd be lying if I told you.
Is it? I have to look it up. Pokemon Ultimate Fire Move. The 20 best fire moves ranked. No. Strongest fire moves of each generation ranked. Fine. Click that one. Gen 7, Mystical Fire. Fire Blast, that's the one.
I can afford to be a little careless with the brush here.
Oh, and in Goemon 5, there's a big fire that you have to put out, and it is a fire in the shape of the kanji for big. Probably helps that it is a relatively simple kanji as well.
Mm.
Hello, Star Blossom J.
Hey! How you been?
We're doing some of the landscape for too many,
Yeah.
which we established early on that the landscapes are basically going to be more or less natural playgrounds with some video gamey toys stuck in there, like like hexagon spinners, maybe a tic-tac-toe, maybe some kind of tic-tac-toe puzzle out of them too. Because now I kind of want to incorporate that idea.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be like a bit like the Korok things in Breath of the Wild. Like you'll see a bunch of rocks lined up and one rock out of place, so you move it into place and you get a little prize for it.
Always like those. I always tend to, whenever it's one of those lift the rock and you get the Korok. I always make it a note.
Drop the rock on top of it.
Yes, every time. I just like that little kind of noise.
Yeah, they actually react to it.
Yes, it's so cute. I feel bad, but at the same time, I don't at all because it's adorable.
I did it by accident. I wanted to put the rock down, and he just drops the thing unceremoniously on the Korok's head. And the Korok's just like, ouch!
I know, it's so cute though.
Very mixed feelings about that. Make Korok butter out of it. Extract seed oil. Maybe. Once you have enough weapon and armor and bow slots or whatever,
Yeah.
I think, what was it? The big guy. He puts them into his maracas, doesn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
Still messed up the fact that it's basically Korok poop.
Yeah, kind of. And the game constantly makes note of how weird they smell. How's the start of your weekend going for you guys so far?
Pretty good. This whole week was chaos, so yes. Good, good, good.
For me, it really depends because my work is flex time. Any day could potentially be weekend or not. I'm trying I'm trying not to get into that mindset of like I have to be working all the time because well, it's difficult not to be in that mindset because it makes it very difficult to rest and just enjoy things. Is Star Blossom from Phoenix's Discord?
No. She's someone I met on Twitter a couple years ago when I started.
Okay.
Yeah. She's a sweet bean.
Ooh, now I gotta check to see if I shared on Twitter because I know I shared all over Discord, but maybe I didn't share the Twitter link yet.
Hey.
Twitter friends. Let's see, hashtag game dev.
She has some really cute art too, as well.
Ah, hashtag indie dev and hashtag too many FTW.
Since this one's a little further away, I'm not going to stress too much in the, you know,
Mm-hmm.
well, maybe a little
Level
bit.
of distance.
Yeah.
Let me see. If I search up Star Blossom on Twitter, would I be able to follow her? Star Blossom J. Aha! Same icon, followed by Astrid and Very Random Butterfly. This must be the one.
Yeah.
Yay! Yep, bit me.
Okay.
Ugh, I'm getting retweets from Crypto Bros.
No.
I mean, like, crypto by itself, I'm not totally against. It's just the NFT stuff that is totally a grift.
I don't like.
And like,
Yeah.
yeah, there's some bloggers out there out there that are playing devil's advocate and saying, maybe NFTs are a good thing, but it's so difficult to see any good in NFTs when there's so many grifts going on.
And not only that, just the obnoxiousness of some of the really heavy NFT people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, art is something you pour a lot of time into, and then they're like, "Oh, look, here's a little flash thing of of an ugly creature or whatever or something."
It's not even Flash. It's like procedurally generated, but not even using like crayon or Dali. It's just like
it feels like Flash.
like pick an eyes. Yeah, pick a set of eyes, pick a mouth, pick a face shape, and just randomly jumble them together.
Yeah, it's like a Rinmaru character. Like one of
yeah,
those.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's using one of those Rinmaru games character generators.
Mm.
This YouTube channel I'm using is very, very new. Currently trying to work on content. Okay, so I'll give you a subscribly as soon as I can figure out how to open that view channel menu. Or I could just, let's see, open a new tab.
Oh wait,
YouTube.
I am seeing a missed opportunity here. Bubble cave. We are having bubbles and geometric shapes.
Aha.
Wait, why not both?
Hey, Twin World.
Hello.
Half at work, half here. Okay. Bubbles, yeah. Bubbles are kind of a they're kind of a motif of this world. Like it's very loosely based on like Mario having
question mark blocks everywhere or bricks that you can hit to get prizes out of. I want something that you can interact with to get prizes out of, and bubbles is having bubbles randomly float through the environment seemed fun.
Geometric cave here, maybe?
I mean, you don't want to own technically unique randomly generated finger paintings. I think that is an insult to finger paintings. These are worse than finger paintings. Like, I'd say I almost want to say Flash is probably more like it, because Flash lowered the bar. Macromedia Flash lowered the bar for getting into animation and art so low that you have people going, "This looks like a Flash cartoon,"
I feel
to
like
make to
it's just
say
a
that it looks like
matter
it's
of
low
the
effort. Hmm?
I don't know. I feel like Flash does have its place, but it needs more work into it. And
Yeah,
the
it
people
was a
who
great
used
idea
it
when
way
it
in the
started
early
out.
2000s were like, oh, we can
Uh-huh.
make it cartoons fast and cheap.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. When you have a way to do something fast and cheap, it still looks fast and cheap when you've done it. At least if you do it the fast and cheap way.
Hmm. I think that's good. I'm just kind of.
I stayed away from Flash games for the most part. It was such a blah system. I did mess with Silverlight a bit. Yeah, like Flash. Early on, Flash games were super low
Oh
effort.
my
Like the
goodness.
only there were some good ideas that you could do with them. Like Flash was more versatile than HyperCard, and HyperCard was what was used to make the game Myst,
Ah,
MYST, and like
ported to everything under the sun.
yeah. But I mean, it was like, I don't know if I want to call it a timeless game, but it was a breakout game for its time,
Yeah.
despite it being so simple. And you could do games like Myst in Flash, but if you want to do like if you want to do what everybody else was doing to get popular on Newgrounds, then you would do stuff that looked like a Flash cartoon. Flash stuff looks so cheesy. I don't know how to describe it. What I used to call it was just an overuse of auto tweening. But I can't really say that that is the problem, because the popular My Little Pony cartoon also used Flash and used auto tweening to make the animation all look really smooth. Flash was a fantastic foot in the door platform. Yeah, yeah. And yeah, you get your foot in the door, and that's once your foot's in the door, you got to prove yourself. You got to show your skills. Or at least use the time that you've bought yourself to develop those skills.
Yeah.
Like what I would call Flash animation now is probably people who are moving off of Flash and into vector animation.
Mhm.
So starting on vector animation is something that I am doing right now. I want to learn for my 2D art skills. I want to develop in the direction of vector animation.
Hmm.
And I feel like I'll have a better chance at learning 2D through vector animation than I will with, this style, painting, digital, or hand drawing with Gimpo Clip Studio.
Hmm. I gotta say though, if there's one thing I would have to say is a big learning curve to digital compared to traditional,
Uh-huh.
color blending.
Yes. blending paints, or blending even colored pencil, blending pencil colors, blending paints, blending colors on paper is going to be a very different process from blending light colors on a digital canvas.
Right, because like the first digital painting I did looked like an MS Paint job, more or less.
It was vector that lets you resize without losing quality. Yes, vector is that. Raster is pixels. Raster is pixels. Vector is information. Or if you're familiar with the old Office suites, like the really old ones, vector is drawing, and raster is painting. So if you remember, like the old Microsoft Office had two had a draw tool and a paint tool,
Mm-hmm.
and draw would remember the information for every line you put down. So if you put down a brushstroke and then put down another brushstroke on top of it, the part of the brushstroke that's underneath is still remembered. So that if you delete the one on top, the one underneath is still there intact. Whereas in a paint program, if you paint a red line and then paint a blue line over it, and then select and get rid of the blue pixels, the red stuff underneath is gone.
Mm-hmm.
The red stuff was forgotten as soon as the blue went over it.
Doing some weird polygonal shape rocks here.
Yeah,
It's a little
it's very
different.
Mario-esque. The leaning crags.
It could be a good like place to explore too. Like,
A little bit of a cliffside.
yeah.
I'm still not sure whether I want to do fall damage or not. I'm leaning towards no, just because Xenoblade 3 has fall damage, Xenoblade 1 has fall damage. Xenoblade X does not have fall damage, and it encourages you to explore more.
Maybe you have special boots
Whereas,
that prevents it.
hmm. But then that locks the player to wearing those boots all the time if they don't want to have fall damage.
Maybe have them customizable to where after a certain point that's all of the boots.
Or we could have one of the futures. We could have one of the futures either have fall damage or not have fall damage.
True. Oh, if they go with like the bad routes and all this and that, make it to where
Yeah,
fall damage is kind of a thing because that
yeah.
forces the characters to have to think of different ways other than, you know, just fumble your
And again,
way
it might
onto
make
the
it.
victims.
It. I'm just thinking it might also make it difficult to design. Let's see, at the least reduce the fall damage. Yeah, like maybe fall damage will never be lethal. So that way, if we make a mistake in designing a world that is too difficult to traverse, it won't it won't be too difficult.
And then when
Like
it's
it won't
hunky
send the
dory,
player.
make it a little bit easier because, you know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
all happy, happy.
Let's see. It was good for games like the old Star Wars. They used vector graphics. Oh yeah, yeah. I remember.
Hmm,
My old arcade had it had a vector graphics Star Wars arcade machine.
nice.
I never actually played it because it seemed like next to say Dungeons and Dragons Shadow over Mystara, the Star Wars game looked really primitive.
Was it like
But
a
it's something.
arcade version of the what is it? The X-wing?
Yeah, I want to say it was a bit like the X-wing or Tie Fighter PC games.
Hmm. I actually do have the X-wing DOS game, but
Yeah, yeah.
I need to figure out how
There was a.
to configure that because it's yeah.
There was a friend of mine in junior high so grade 7, 8, 9. There was a friend of mine who had that. He would play it all the time. And like when I would visit him, he would be playing that, and I would just be kind of sitting nearby and talking with him.
Hmm.
It was a single player game. There wasn't like, there was basically nothing for me to do. But I mean, I guess that's how we hung out back then.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I visited my friend with the Super NES, it would often turn into like he was so much better at games than I was that it would turn into me getting a game over. Even if we were playing like Mario World or something, I'd get a game over and I'd just watch him play the rest of the game. Never lethal fall damage reminds me of jumping off of the
Oh, that is a game I still need to play. Shadow of the
having
Colossus.
strategic places to fall. I remember playing a little bit of Assassin's Creed 3, I believe, 3 and 4 on the Wii U, and yeah, basically finding the tallest places to scan the landscape, and then just falling into a bale of hay somewhere below.
Yeah,
There was always something safe to fall into.
I played a little bit of 2, and it's just about as much as you think. Like the first few minutes where you can actually roam free at the most, and then you cause chaos. You know, I am
I
not there
remember.
to play games. I am there to cause chaos.
Yeah, I think like I played a lot of Assassin's Creed 3, but after a certain point I was thinking like I like how this is playing, but for most of what I like about this game, I'd rather be playing Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate.
Mm.
Because what I was doing was I was going into the wild and gathering materials and trapping animals, and I'm thinking like the only thing missing from here is a giant beast to walk in and for me to spend the next half hour fighting it.
Hmm.
Assassin's Creed 3 The Patriot. I don't remember the subtitle for that. But yeah, like other than that, like I felt like Assassin's Creed 3 and 4, they gave me weapons, but the weapons were kind of like they never felt like a reward because I was always assassinating with the little wrist blades.
Yeah.
So everything was a one-hit kill.
Well, that's kind of pointless.
Yeah. And usually when I got into a fight, like I wouldn't be able to get close enough to use my upgraded swords or anything because they're if I was in a fight, it was because I assassinated incorrectly, and so the game was punishing me by having like 10,000 guards all notice me and like start shooting or something.
Kind of like how I end up playing Hitman. Like, I don't play it how you should. Like, I end up killing someone and then trying to figure out a way how to run away.
I mean,
like
everything is legit, right?
so much.
As long as the target gets
Yeah, it's
as long as
just a
the target
matter.
gets hit.
Yeah, unless if it's a weird mission where it's like, oh no, you needed to do this. And
What a twist!
yeah, like there was one, I think it was Absolution or something like that.
Uh-huh.
Was that the name of that one? Where you're in a market and you need to kill this guy. So I just got up to him, pushed him down a manhole with my boot, and hid in a trash can until people stopped looking for me.
No one's gonna look in the trash can.
Like, it got to the point no one was in town except for the police. I'm like, okay, they have to give up soon, right?
It's a town full of police. Hitman Absolution is the one with the black latex nuns. All right. Like, I played. Oh no, I wasn't. I
Yeah.
didn't even play. I was shown a Hitman game, so I never really played them for myself. I wasn't really into stealth action back then. I mean, I'm still not really into it right now.
Oh, trust
But
me.
I did play
it's
through.
so much better not playing it like a stealth action.
Not stealthing.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice that they have the other option that like any method of taking the target out is legit.
I mean, it is legit, but it's
Mhm.
definitely a lot harder. A lot funner, though.
All right. Actually, one old game that I want to play. It was called No One Lives Forever, and it was basically what if there was a game about Austin Powers, except you play as both Austin Powers and the girl.
Oh, goodness.
But yeah, it was a first-person shooter, um, and it was set in like I think the 70s, like a fictional version of the 70s where everything is neon and round.
Yeah. 70s, 60s, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And all the appliances were either harvest gold or avocado green. Ugh. Of all
Around
the
that time, I was.
colors.
Oh yeah, I had Perfect Dark. Oh, that was one of the games that was stolen from me.
I do have Perfect Dark to actually play that one.
The cartridge?
Yeah.
Oh wow. You've got a sought after rarity.
Hmm. I got it from Half Price Books. It was on sale, I think.
I wonder who would have given it up.
I
Someone
don't.
who didn't know their its value
Hmm.
for sure.
And
Yeah.
prior to that, I remember seeing a copy at Goodwill, but at the time I didn't have an N64. So I was like, well,
Yeah,
this
I
is
think.
useless to me.
I mean, I think I might have a Saturn game lying around somewhere. It would either be Radiant Silvergun or Popful Mail, but I don't have a Saturn. I have no way to play it.
Oh, I really want to get a Saturn eventually.
I want to find, like, even if I can never get a model Super NES, I want to get a Super Scope 6
Hmm.
and Metal Combat Falcon's Revenge.
Hmm.
That is a game that the Anomion Bazooka, or Nerol Anomion and his bazooka, are kind of based on that game's tornado weapon, that game's unlockable weapon. It's a charged up bazooka that fires like multiple laser shots depending on what the charge level is.
Hmm.
But yeah, in Too Many, the bazooka in that doubles as a lectern, and a lectern as a weapon lets you instruct your allies, lets you convey battle information to your allies, increasing their chance to hit and land criticals.
I may duplicate these layers just to
Mm-hmm.
increase their, well, non-transparency.
Increase their opacity,
Yeah.
increase their power.
Yes. So that way the sky isn't bleeding through it.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like the tools that you use remind me a little bit of um, back when I used Facebook. They had a way to draw on each other's walls, and the drawing tools by default had a low transparency, so you had to draw over your drawing a couple of times to get a really bright color through.
Hmm.
I mean, maybe I'm drawing wrong in GIMP by setting my opacity, by maxing out the opacity on my brushes. But yeah, it's something I'd have to get used to if I were to set it lower. So one thing that probably won't change throughout all the futures, no matter which future you choose, is that there will be bubbles all over the place that'll have little random treasures for you.
Hmm.
It could be just little healing items, or some coins, or a random item from the area. I'd like there to be the appeal, the happy surprise of finding a rare item, but I don't want it to be frustrating if you really need those rare items to
Right.
find them.
And it shouldn't be
Like maybe I'll just
punished if someone did a bad or chose one path or another.
oh yeah, yeah. Like each future is going to have its own story.
Hmm.
So I'd like this to be effectively maybe a bit like Live Alive in the way that there's seven opening chapters,
Yeah.
seven short stories. Similarly, you'll have your light neutral, light dark, neutral light, neutral neutral, neutral dark,
Yeah.
and dark light, dark neutral, dark futures, and each one is going to be its own little story.
I love how.
And of course,
Oh, sorry. You finish.
okay, and of course, like when you finish a story, you can reload your save file from an earlier point without ruining your current story's progress.
But I like how in Live Alive in the Wild West thing, the guy offers you milk, and I'm like, oh no, I ain't accepting that. Just on the principle.
The way he says it too, like when I first played this game, the original translated version,
Hmm.
it didn't have the intonation in the voice, so I thought I thought he was genuinely trying to make friends with you. Like the choice of milk, I thought that was a translation thing that he decided that they translated whatever they were drinking as milk, or
Hmm.
maybe this was a bar that just served milk or something.
Yeah.
But no, in this version, the way he says it, you know he's talking down to you.
Yeah. I'm like, we ain't playing this. I don't care if I'm wanted or not.
Your mother, maybe. He didn't. He really didn't like that.
Nope. Definitely not. Making buddies when I'm already wanted.
They're serving up a bit of the ultra milk. Is that a Clockwork Orange reference?
I have not even seen that movie.
I've seen it twice. I've seen it on late night TV when my parents were asleep.
Oh boy.
I mean, that's when all the best TV was on. 3 a.m. showcase. I don't know if that even exists anymore with the way TV is sold nowadays.
Hmm. Although I've got to say, antenna TV is kind of interesting.
Hmm.
All the ads and weird TV shows and all this and that. I don't know.
It is.
Kind of cursed.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't be surprised. It's not like I imagine it probably isn't like 90s YTV cursed, where it was like they were going with a trend of gross is cool.
No.
So there was lots of slime and slugs and snails and stuff.
Sadly,
and
not that
kind of
interesting.
no?
Not that interesting. More like, okay, so a major demographic to antenna TV is more elderly people because it's cheap, it's free.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, all the commercials that target that, the reverse mortgages and all this and that, that are
Are your
endorsed by
kids not calling enough?
Tom Selleck.
I vaguely remember that name. I don't know what
Magnum
from.
PI.
Okay.
But I'm like, yeah, I'm a famous guy that you watched when you were younger. You could totally believe me. I wouldn't lie to you at all.
That just reminds me of Stephen Colbert targeting ads at Stephen Colbert targeting ads at Trump while he was in office by using the catheter cowboy, by hiring the catheter cowboy to teach him about how the government is supposed to work.
Yeah.
Like, I think if you search Stephen Colbert catheter cowboy, you'll see all the skits that went up. And these went up when it was likely that Trump was watching TV, basically when he wasn't tweeting.
When was that?
Or when there were lulls in his tweets.
Because I swear, the dude was tweeting at 3 in the frickin' morning.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Supposed to.
Anyway.
Like, they knew, based on his online activity, they could tell when he was watching TV, and, of course, what channel he was watching. It was always Fox.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure anytime there was a show on that was going to talk about him, 100% guaranteed he'd be watching it.
Yeah. Oh, no
So
doubt.
then they would just buy up, yeah. So then they would just buy up the ad space in that time slot to send these messages over.
Let's see. I'm trying to. I probably shouldn't have done that.
I was wondering what you were going for with the shading here.
I'm working on shading the grass a little, but I'm also...
To give it a little bit of that up and down.
Yeah, I'm gonna add a little bit more texture when I can.
Okay.
Because it really needs texture. This over here, not so much. I'm not too worried about this over here.
Alright. The left island currently looks like Gerudo Valley from Ocarina of Time. Maybe with the redness, yeah.
I figured with the blue sky and also the lake and the waterfall, it might be nice having more of a
Mhm.
clay base kind of ground, more orange.
Yeah, yeah, a blue and green and red balance.
Yeah. Now that I've got that out of the way, I'm gonna add like a light color. Let me see. See if I can. Fan brush. These are just terrible Photoshop ones, but sometimes they
I
have.
think you were mentioning you were. I think you mentioned you were shopping around for better fan brushes.
Yes, is
Are you? Does Clip Studio allow you to make the
they
fan brushes that you want?
they do, but I need to watch tutorials because look at
Okay.
that. It has potential,
Yeah.
but the only problem is it does that instead of cross hatching or
Yeah.
I don't like that.
So it's a rapid stamp is the
Yeah.
problem.
If it were something like a brush that were to drag in certain like
Yeah.
angles,
Okay. Yeah.
because
That's strange because like you were just using tools that do that turn with your brush, that turn with your stylus.
right.
I always just use the default and adjust as I go. Hmm. See that I don't know. I wouldn't know how to do it in this. I'm currently using GIMP for my raster needs,
Right.
which admittedly aren't that much, especially while I'm trying to learn vector. This isn't too bad. You
Yeah.
got some, I guess, what might be like wild wheats.
Grass. I'm gonna use this, but also get my watercolor brush, which I
Ah,
really
okay.
like, and blend it.
All right.
Oh, this would help. That that would really help if I don't do that big.
Hmm. Whoa!
Yeah, that
Gives
just.
me that Final Fantasy feel.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Maybe
that
more of
would
a green
be.
hue. I want it to stay a little bit yellow, but not too yellow.
All right. So we've got that hue slider there.
Yep. And there that goes again. Because I don't want it to overtake everything. I just want enough for texture.
Mm-hmm.
It's like with painting with
Picture.
traditionally. I tend to get a little carried away with the fan brush there with the grass. Just a little.
Mandarin Game says I can picture the FF1 heroes sitting on that outcropping watching the opening credits. Yeah, as soon as you cross that first bridge.
Oh wait, wrong. Wait, is that the right one?
That's the ending.
Ah,
Wait, no, that's a different game, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, that would be
Whoops.
Zelda.
Yep. Whoops.
Um.
I'm worried if I'm getting mixed up between that and Dragon Quest.
Let's see. Dragon
Oh wait,
Quest
that's
is
the one
Dragon
that
Quest is
goes
the
da
big
da
elaborate one.
da da da
Yeah.
da 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 da. Yeah, yeah.
My favorite my favorite song from Dragon Quest is the one you get when you win something like 10 times in a row in some gambling game in the casino. Like you win once and you get this little jingle going like
Aw.
and it just gets they add more and more to it until it becomes like
Oh my
with the
god.
drums and the timpani and like 20 instruments playing.
Gonna use a little bit of this brush to kind of bring in some of that light.
You got your waves of grass happening here.
Yeah.
There is I think a recent tutorial on how to do procedural grass on the GPU, and I was looking at it, and I believe it was engine specific, but because it had to do with like getting the GPU to do your calculations for you, I think I might be able to translate it into Vulkan and Godot. Vulkan and or Godot. Right now, Vulkan is the priority because Godot is still in development. So I'm hoping I can learn enough in Vulkan to just kind of use it, to just kind of incorporate what I learn into Godot 4 once it's out of alpha. They're saying that they'll be in beta in September, or at least by the end of September. Of course, I'm not in a hurry. I'm totally prepared to build this game entirely in Vulkan and C++ if I have to. Or at least to learn how to do it.
Mm-hmm. Trying to think what to do next. I might do those mountains in the background. There we go.
All right.
That should be easy. Maybe do like a bluish, purplish.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the distance.
Yeah. The tint that you get from looking into the distance.
Yeah, maybe more on the blue side. And I'll use warm colors to highlight and low light so that way it'll show some of the details.
Yeah. I'm still kind of throwing the idea around in my head about the three suns. The orange, green, and purple suns that leave a red, yellow, and blue shadows on the ground. I'm not going to make you do that here because I feel like it's something that would be best left to have a computer calculate out.
And then paint it afterwards.
Yeah, because then you'll have a frame of reference.
Mm-hmm.
But I found it interesting. Like a while ago, I saw a video about how there aren't any green or purple stars in all of space, and it is because it would be physically impossible for that to occur.
The light, huh?
Yeah, the way that the colors we see, or the colors of the stars, and how hot they are, means that we cannot have a green or purple sun. At least not to our sense of vision.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe one of those shrimp with the 5 color cones can see a green or purple sun.
Or someone who has 4 cones.
Oh.
Because that is a thing.
Yeah. Earlier today, I watched a video. Game dev tutorials are lying to you. Oh yeah, Acerola, right? And he used grass as an example to explain that the vast majority of tutorial code is hideously unoptimal. Yeah, and that's something that
that is a gripe that I've had with other a gripe that I have talked about with other game devs, um, regarding like when they go to game dev classes and they're not taught how to optimize their game. They're taught how to build a game quickly and sell it and make money off of it.
Oh, basically what you
But
should
I
be
don't think, yeah, and like the tutorials that I've seen, of the tutorials I've seen, they don't seem particularly invested in. I mean, they're not going to be invested in any one project for sure, but they, how do I put it? Like, optimization is not, I guess, all I can really say is like, if they try to teach optimization, then it's not going to feel like they're teaching game dev, right?
Hmm.
They're not teaching you how to make stuff. And what they'll do is they'll teach you how to make stuff so you can make stuff and you can see results. But like when you try to make a big sweeping epic out of it, then your game's going to run at 2 frames a second, and you may not understand why. I mean, you might, like if you test as you build, and you're noticing that the frame rate's going down as your game gets bigger,
Mhm.
and then and what they're probably banking on is that you'll look up optimization on your own as you're developing your game.
Mhm. Land beneath, well, beyond that a little.
Mhm.
Because why not?
But yeah, I remember seeing that on my recommended feed, when I was just about going to sleep yesterday, and I watched about half of it, and I'm like, I'm too sleepy to listen to this any further. But yeah, I think I got the gist of it.
Hmm.
It just, yeah, while I was listening to that, I was reminded of that earlier discussion. I'm guessing many draw the same thing over and over instead of pulling from the same object in memory and just tiling or cloning it on screen. I think that was draw the same. Yeah, yeah. I think that was one of the parts that Acerola went over regarding that. There is one tutorial that I'm kind of going to try and follow in parallel, and that is the Joyce Minions art tutorial. Like, she's developing a game called Astrocat, and every step of the way, she is like putting up tutorials on how she did whatever she did.
Mhm.
And it's kind of like it follows a little bit of what I want to do with Too Many. Like it's got running around, it's got jumping, it's got holding onto ledges. I think it's even got a little bit of combat. Lately, she seems to be focusing on visual effects, but she does have a character customization tutorial, which is probably going to help with putting clothes on our characters.
Mhm.
Is it the pet of Astro Boy? Ha! Joyce Minion's art game is called Astrocat.
What do you think so far? Trying to convey a sense of depth beyond this a little,
Yeah, yeah.
but
I mean,
not.
that seems to be coming through pretty well.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, especially in the little thumbnail in the corner there. It's very easy to see.
Mhm. I like these little filters here. They make a huge difference. So you've got darken, multiply, color
Oh
burn.
yeah.
Yeah, just all
I
the nice
think
effects.
yeah. I think Synfig Studio, the vector animation program that I'm learning right now, I think Synfig Studio has something like that in
in its layers feature.
Mm-hmm.
From what I understand about Synfig Studio, it's trying to be basically a fully non-destructive type of program,
Mm-hmm.
so that basically infinite levels of undo if you need it. Everything that you do is a layer. But it could be like, the disadvantage with that kind of workflow is that it could lead to a very bloated file before you're done your animation.
Right.
But I mean, the upside is once you've finished your animation and you've exported it as a GIF or as a video or whatever, that video can be as compressed as you want.
Mm-hmm.
WebMs or Twitter compatible MP4s. Twitter is very picky about its videos. I had to,
Right.
like, it got so picky at one point that I had to ask them, what is the FFmpeg line that I should use? Because my old one isn't working anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wish they would use WebM, because that is a very narrowly defined video container.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, if they, like, MP4 is decently, like, it's what the whole internet uses, but it could also be, it could range from very small to very large. WebM is relatively new, very narrowly defined, and almost guaranteed to be mobile compatible and high definition. It's very versatile. I remember H.264 being being especially good because back when H.264 was new, you couldn't just skip forward or back in a video. You had to load, like, if you started a 10-minute video and skipped to 5 minutes, you would have to load all the bits of the video that you didn't watch before you could resume watching at 5 minutes in.
Ugh.
Whereas H.264, you could just skip to any part of the video, and then I'm pretty sure every video format after that had that feature. H.264 might also be patent encumbered, whereas WebM is the codecs that WebM contains are all open source, I believe. You're really good at doing those shadows.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Like, this will make for some extensive, like, just doing those mountains in the background alone in 3D is going to make for some extensive 3D practice for me.
Hmm.
I'll probably try and use the geometry nodes to figure out how to do grass in Blender.
Hmm.
Star Blossom J says, gonna head off for the night. Have a good rest of stream, everyone.
Yeah, bye.
You too, Star Blossom. Looking forward to talking to you on Twitter.
Yeah.
Got some sun dappling happening.
Yeah. I want to bring a little warmth to this.
Mm-hmm. Like this, I could probably make an area close to the Dream Country Castle Town. I don't know if I've mentioned it already, but most of the areas that you'll be exploring will be divided into hexagons.
Okay.
So, I mean, this is not something that should affect your designs or anything,
Mm-hmm.
but
And if it does, it's
yeah,
just concept work, so no biggie.
yeah. So, like, I'm thinking, like, you'll be standing in one hexagon and looking into another with how far these mountains are.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even looking like 3 or 4 hexagons distance away. But each hexagon will be about 1 kilometer across, from a side to side, from a side to the opposite side,
Mm-hmm.
which would make them about 1.5 kilometers corner to corner.
And that's also about the limit to how big you can make an area. Well, how big you can make an object in Blender 3D before it starts glitching out.
Hmm.
So I have to work very carefully. But once I add some kind of texture to a hexagon surface, to a hexagonal prism, then I can probably navigate around the visible area much more easily. It's once you get to 1,000 meters across, or about 1/10 of a centimeter, so 1 millimeter in scale, that Blender's math starts to get a little bit wonky, and you have to start adjusting like field of view and certain geometry nodes, like in the Blender Guru Jujube tutorial. He shrinks, or even in the donut tutorial, he shrinks the donut down to, I want to say, 10 centimeters across. He wants to make these objects a realistic size. So
Right.
at some point, if you're following the donut tutorial, he'll shrink the donut to about 10 centimeters across. Or if you're following the Jujube tutorial, he'll shrink the Jujube to 2 centimeters. Oh wait, 2 centimeters is pretty big. Oh no, he does shrink it to 2 centimeters across. And yeah, you're going to start noticing some weird stuff going on with the physics and
Yes.
the geometry nodes, and possibly the field of view as well. And you're going to have to start adjusting things to make everything normal again. They'll probably be addressed in an update soon, because like Blender Guru is pretty well known. So the trouble he's causing the development team is going to be massive because of this, and they're going to have to figure out ways to fix the problems that people are going to be having with their blenders going all wonky.
I figure also here, I'm just having a little fun. Pathways down the mountain.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
'Cause why not?
Following each pathway will get you a different set of treasures, maybe secrets to find.
Yeah, maybe there's all this here that could be a livable area, or, a dungeon to explore, or a
A
town.
mysterious hermit hiding out. Yeah.
A hidden town, too.
This is like a world map. No, just a single, not a world map, just a single area. Or, well, probably bigger than a single area. It definitely looks like more than 1 kilometer across. But yeah, a little glimpse of part of the world that you can play around in. A natural playground of sorts. Originally, I had just 2 hexagons planned out as test areas. Had a one had a building and a little uh, like a little swimming pool and a little underwater tunnel that led into the building, and some ledges to grab onto and climb up. And then the second area was just
Mhm.
a big hole with an overhang, so that you had to use your super jump to get out. Either super jump or flight if you had a character who had flight. Basically, a normal jump wouldn't be high enough to reach, and your wall climb wouldn't help because there would be a ceiling, there would be an overhang.
Actually, let me save this. I'm saving many and often because the first time I saved
Mm-hmm.
this, it crashed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Pencil 2D is obnoxious about saving. Like if you do 20 things before you save the file for the first time, it'll actually pop up a window asking if you want to save before moving on.
Hmm.
It's annoying, but it is an important reminder if you haven't saved your work after 20 moves.
Yeah.
So now I try to get into the habit of saving saving a brand new empty file, even if I haven't done anything.
Mm-hmm.
Because after that first save, it'll just autosave. It'll autosave every 20 moves or so.
Mm-hmm.
Pencil 2D is what I'm currently using for raster animation.
Mm-hmm. I kind of want to see how Blender does the animation, but at the
Hmm.
same time, I'm kind of intimidated by it. I'm not gonna lie.
it's it's both easy and not easy at the same time. You can set you can set the settings so that anytime you go to a new frame and change a part of the scene, it'll add a keyframe right there.
Hmm.
So you could it could be as easy as it could be easy as putting a sphere into the scene on frame 0, moving to frame 20, moving the sphere somewhere, moving to frame 40, moving the sphere somewhere else, and then just playing, and you'll see the sphere go from the first place to the second place to the third place
Hmm.
without you having done anything other than change the frame you're on and change the position of the sphere.
This is definitely cheating, but I love this little rock tool.
So we've got kind of a rock face over here,
Hmm.
and then clay surrounding.
Yeah. I might just. I think that looks good, and then have maybe a path leading this way, and there's a lake.
All right.
Yeah. Have the path
And
leading there.
because I want to allow the player to swim, every lake will have something interesting
Hmm.
to explore. Even if it's just like a treasure chest at the bottom. Just one treasure chest at the bottom
It's like,
with
here
maybe
you
a
go,
couple of coins.
kid. Thank you for exploring.
Yeah.
Don't spend it all in one place, unless if you want to.
A single coin. Don't spend it all in one place. All right, Twin World, thanks for dropping by.
Bye. Or it's a situation where it's like, this is just a gumball. Don't spend it all in one place.
I've actually been playing Paper Mario on the Switch Online service.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get to that one scene that I've been trying to make a GIF out of, but it's late in the game. But still, I'm at the part where you meet Koopa Koot and he gives you a million different chores to do, and each time you do a chore, he gives you a single coin for it. Some of them are like, "Can you get me this thing? It costs like 500 coins," and then he'll give you a single coin for your work.
I think I actually, at the beginning, there was. I think I went through some of his little things at the beginning. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
wait a second. I was cheated.
I think he does give you something good though. He gives you a game center credit or something,
Mm-hmm.
and it's basically gambling. But because you have save states, you can win the gambling game every time.
Nice.
I mean, even before you could always save the game before going into the casino, and you could still win. Like you can max out your coins that way.
Mm-hmm. Trying to figure this out because I really want to give it better lighting, but at the same time, I don't want to ruin this. Like,
Maybe is there a color edit? Like you could
actually,
affect just
yes.
one part.
Hold up.
Huh.
It's not perfect.
Yeah, I know that GIMP has something like
Really,
a
it's not perfect.
hue shift feature.
Yeah, this is not perfect at all. Oh my. Come to the Rock Candy Mountain.
Yeah. Blueberry rocks.
Yep.
Hi, Squeaky Kitten.
It just. Hold up. I can one up this. I can one up this. It glows!
radioactive rock candy.
Yep.
It's been kept in one of those radioactive glass candy jars for too long.
Yep.
Oh, squeaky kitten. Arr.
Let's see.
Oh, did you want lap time?
Definitely been in a Vaseline glass jar for way too long. And why did I do that? Put that back where it belongs.
Oh, squeaky kitten. Hi, squeaky kitten. Brr.
No wonder. Actually, what am I doing? That actually has a pretty cool field of depth there. Done that. Look at that.
Aha, yeah.
Accidentally creating another feature.
Yeah.
And I will do.
Looking down into the valley below.
Yep, and there's more rocks.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go to my custom brushes. Where's my... Hold up. You should be up here. Stay.
Aha. Keeps running off to hide.
Yep.
One thing that I probably should have pointed out earlier is that when you're watching a YouTube stream on ultra low latency, or maybe even without ultra low latency, it'll occasionally try and sneak you further and further behind the where the stream is.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll want to click on the stream and hit the end key on your keyboard, or would it be 0? I think 0 will take you back to the beginning. Just double check that. Yeah, it's not 0, but end will send you right to where the stream is happening. If you notice that the little red progress bar has a little bit of gray on the end, then yeah, you're probably you might be 10 or 15 seconds behind. At this point, I would chalk it down to a fault of the RTMP, rich text message protocol. Shoot, no, real-time messaging protocol. Yes, I would chalk it up to a fault with RTMP because in all the time that, well, admittedly, not much time on YouTube / Microsoft scale, but yeah, in all the time that they had to try and get streaming latency down, they don't seem to have done much for all the time and money that they've spent in trying to do that. They don't seem to have been able to do it with RTMP. So we might all just be waiting for either WebRTC or SRT to become available. I'm really surprised that they haven't adopted either of those by now. But I think part of the problem might be that both of those are open source, so neither company can own it.
Yeah.
So if you can't own it, you might as well stick to whatever's not working but everybody else is using.
As the song goes.
Yeah. If it's broke but everybody else is using the broke thing, keep using the broke thing.
I'm kind of debating whether to carry a path or just make this all lake. Let's look at that.
There's a lot of options.
I'm definitely going to add some trees around here, because, yeah, and
Of
then
course, yeah.
the one here.
Mm-hmm. Like, I'm pretty sure there should be a lake,
Mm-hmm.
just to give the players something to dive in and swim around.
Yeah. You know what?
So it's not just plains to run around in.
Let me start with that, and I'll go from there if I want to add
All
more.
right.
I don't know why I'm going with dark teal, well, dark blue, but you know what? I'm starting with it. Forget it.
Did it mysteriously stop painting for a second?
Yes, it did.
Whoa! That is a huge brush.
Right.
You gotta incrementally experiment.
Mm-hmm. So that way it's practical.
There we go. Are you gonna duplicate the layer to
Actually,
enforce the color?
with water, I could be a little bit more, I don't know.
You can really see the blending happening here.
Mm-hmm.
It actually does look pretty processor intensive.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of makes me think about the Art Academy software that I have on the Wii U.
Mm.
I think I've done like 2 out of the 6 lessons in it so far. It teaches you how to paint and how it actually does simulate the way that pencil crayons will mix as you draw over top of them and stuff.
Yeah.
Pencil crayons and paints and acrylics. I think it's got a couple other things too. It's even got like a very rudimentary layering system in that if you want, you can basically spray a fixative over your current canvas,
Mm-hmm.
and then it effectively stops all blending, so you can draw over it as if it's like dried and set.
Mm-hmm. Now these rocks are kind of irritating me a little. But
It's possible to hide the rock layer.
hold up. I can fix this. This lake is just a little too on the dark side, but there's a quick fix for that. New folder. And I'm going to create a correction layer. Okay, it should only affect this, but for some reason... Oh, crud. I done goofed.
You moved that area, moved that one into there.
Yeah. Whoops. Don't do that. That was too teal. Anyway. But it does give me an idea. I do need to add the shadows from these a little.
All right. Here I was thinking you were going to make I thought you were going to make that area mostly green with a small lake in there somewhere, rather than make the entire area the lake.
I mean, I could, but I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Ah, making the land area a little bit visible in the water, right?
Mm-hmm.
This way they're not floating islands.
Yeah. Then you get a little bit of that light reflection from the sky instead. There we go. That's looking a lot better. Water can sometimes be one of the difficult things. I
Yeah.
remember my great grandma when she was teaching me how to paint, she's like, take it easy with water, because I remember the first time I painted the sea thing, like the sea background, and she tried, and she just went to bed and just decided to give up and work on it tomorrow, the next day. She looked at it the
Hmm.
next day and she's like, what on earth is this? So, could add a little bit of fog to help with those rocks a little. Maybe it's a little foggy. I don't know.
I guess, like with hot weather and water, you might have some. I don't know. Would humidity cause visual distortion?
Maybe if it's cold, like in the mornings, you definitely
Morning
get fog.
fog. All right.
But maybe not mid morning if the sun's
Yeah.
beaming.
Yeah, that'll dry up the air, or ought
Hmm.
to dry up the air pretty quick.
Do like how this is looking so far, though.
Hmm. Thinking about games that have swimming in them. I know that, like, one thing I'm going to have to explore in Xenoblade 3 is whether they let you swim underwater or not. Because in Xenoblade 1 and 2, in Xenoblade 1, there is clear water, but you can't really swim under it.
Uh,
Um, Xenoblade 2, you have the Cloud Sea. For most of where there is water, there's the Cloud Sea, and you just kind of float on the surface if you aren't like salvaging. And even then, when you are salvaging, it's either in a cutscene or you just dive under the clouds and then show up again after you're done salvaging with all the treasure chests that you found.
hmm.
And then Xenoblade X has surface swimming and opaque water. Xenoblade 3 shows people swimming on the surface. I don't think you can. I don't think you can dive and explore underwater, but if you could, then it would be something that I'd want to explore a bit.
Do like this brush? It's a water surface brush.
Aha.
But I don't like you to use it too heavily because it has this weird
Yeah.
effect. Just enough.
Yeah. I can kind of see it on the sides there.
Hmm. Just enough for a little shine.
Yeah, just a little bit of an effect.
Mm-hmm.
Just to make it, like, it makes it very evident that this is water.
Mm-hmm.
That it's not ice, and that it's not, like a cliff or something.
Right. Might add a little bit of glow to this water surface, another layer here.
Hmm. More sun dappling.
Yeah.
It's much easier to talk about sunshine at a time of day when it's not shining.
Yep.
At least over here.
Ugh. It's been doing a weird number over here where it's been having afternoon showers, and it was raining a lot more today, though.
Hmm. Is the temperature all right?
Uh, it's actually a little below average for August. Um,
All right.
trying
That
to,
sounds pretty good.
yeah, like I think normally it runs about how July was running, about the 40s, which is 102 Fahrenheit.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's about 95, which I think that's 35 Celsius.
Okay. So yeah, it's a temperature at which I'd probably not want to wear a headset.
Mm,
Like, it would be uncomfortably hot. I would probably be able to work, but yeah, any hotter than 35, I wouldn't be able to work. I would have to retreat.
mm.
I'd have to retreat to my basement with a bottle of ice.
I will say one thing here is the fact that we have AC almost 24/7.
Yeah. If I could get an AC, if I could get a central AC, I will be set.
Hmm. I still have no clue how anyone here lived without AC. Like, over here.
Yeah. I'm starting to think like over here, we just I'd say as late as 10 years ago, we probably we probably never figured things would ever get hot enough
Mhm.
to need a central AC. But yeah, as of 10 years ago when we got our first heat wave, or I shouldn't even say first heat wave. It's the first one that I remember, at least when I was on my own.
Mhm.
But yeah, when we got that heat wave, people should have like the city should have gotten used to like thinking the heat's gonna get worse from here on out.
Right.
We need to get everyone ACs in all new houses.
Mhm.
Like the weird thing is this house, its thermostat thinks that an AC is in there, which makes me think that when they installed it, the person installing or the company installing the AC or the company installing the entire heat management system, said, yeah, we can give you half price if you don't want the included. And the condo board just said, yeah, leave the AC out.
Oh, crud.
That's my guess. But yeah, the heating system thinks there's an AC in there, and there isn't.
Mm.
So I can tell it to run the AC until the temperature's down to 18 degrees, and it'll just run the fan. It'll run the fan without turning the heat on.
Mhm.
It'll tell an AC that isn't there to turn on, and then it'll wait for the AC to it'll wait for the temperature to go down to 18 degrees or whatever you set.
Mhm.
It's got some weird like repairman only signals too. Like if there's water, If there's water in the room, in the boiler room, then it'll just seize all functions, and it won't
Uh,
tell you what's wrong until a repairman comes in and reads the special repairman's manual for this device to tell you there's water in the room. You need to clean that up with a sponge or something.
surely there's got to be a manual lookup for those.
There ought to be, yeah,
Because I think,
but there's no information on what to look up exactly.
well,
I think
that's
you have to open
messed
up the
up.
machine to see where that. Yeah, it's the whole ice. It's the whole broken ice cream machine or broken shake machine thing
Mm,
again. I think it's the broken shake machine problem on a civilian level.
uh, because I think one of the issues with our AC unit,
Uh
what
huh.
happened with it was, I think it was just mostly a situation of the drain pipe needed cleaning and helping
Hmm.
with getting it cleared. Because we poured bleach down there, which is what you're supposed to do about every so often,
Uh huh.
and it just did not um, clear out as it should have.
Mm. So the bleach didn't work. Are there other products like I don't know liquid plumber or something like that, or that foaming stuff?
Yeah, we tried Drano too. Of course, not at the same time, because,
Of course, no. Yeah,
it's one of those attics
mixing
that has
chemicals is
those
bad.
rickety stairs up it, which is a pain in the rear. And
Hmm.
whoever thought of that should be in jail or something. I don't know. It's just, it's bad. I don't like it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, there's one thing that I'm not totally sure how it works, but like I have an attic, but I'm never supposed to go up there.
Wait, what?
What it's supposed to be is I think it's supposed to be like some part of the thermal ceiling.
Hmm.
So it's supposed to be like a chamber of hot air or a chamber of cold air that regulates the temperature of the house.
Hmm.
So you can go up there to check if there's anything wrong, but it disrupts the temperature of the air in there, and it might like break the thermal seal of your house.
Oh, that's messed up.
It seems like it seems like one of those systems that's like this is how it's always worked, so we don't want to change it, kind of a
Oh,
thing.
no.
I kind of wonder if someone's gonna ask, like, did you use the rocks brush for this part?
Yeah. I'm trying to fix this because I don't like how that bottom half is so bright.
Mhm.
A little better, but not a lot. Because it looks like a bad bloom situation.
Okay.
You see what I'm meaning?
Yeah, it definitely stands out.
Maybe if I could remove the blue, which, if I do that, what I can do, what am I doing? I could use orange.
Aha.
Maybe.
Brown with context.
But
You've seen that Technology Connections video?
mm-mm.
No? Oh, the whole video is about the color brown.
Hmm. In what context? What is it regarding?
it's
just that brown is his favorite color, and he points out like all of the ways that it's just a video of him gushing about the color brown.
Hmm.
He even has a guest. He even has a guest speaker there too.
Hmm.
I'll see if I can link it to you after the video.
Bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if I add another blue
You could also.
filter at the back half.
Oh, maybe. I was also thinking maybe desaturate if you wanted it to pop less.
Yeah. Well, no, I kind of want it to pop a little bit, but not.
Okay.
Hmm.
I guess having some blue would help it reflect the lake.
Yeah.
Like we don't want to get rid of the blue entirely, because that's what's adding shade.
You know, I might just redo this because I don't like how
Okay.
this looks. There we go.
All right.
Already looking better. Let me save before I forget. And regret. Hmm. Maybe. Oh. Darn it. Okay. Lasso tool. You should get off of this layer and get on your own darn layer. Just a little less. Let's see if this works. Oh. It's a little better, yeah. What do you think?
Yeah. You got a bit more perspective this way.
Yeah. And it's not as stark.
Mm-hmm. Not as stark and not as steep. It's not quite a like a sheer drop to the water.
Mm-hmm. And let me do a duplicate layer. Oh, wait. What am I doing? I don't need a duplicate of this one. I need a duplicate of this one. Ah. Oh, wait. Let's see how this turns out first before... Come on, Clip Studio. There we go. Now, that's giving me the same problem. There we go. Not so bad. No, never mind. Okay, so I'm just going to combine these two. That looks good.
All right.
And I think the main thing left is those trees.
Yes.
And, of course, bubble clouds.
Yeah.
I'll need to figure this out. And, of course, finally, too, lighting. One of my
Yes.
favorite things is figuring out lighting.
Okay.
It kind of gets everything, you see it pieced together.
I don't suppose there's a hexagon brush in there somewhere.
I don't think so.
This would be interesting if you could use that for the leaves.
There might be on the Clip Studio asset page, though.
All right.
Might need to look later.
I imagine it would be a relatively simplistic brush to either find or make.
Mm-hmm.
Just one of those rapid stamp brushes. Like a miniature forest.
Mm-hmm.
Just 3 trees.
Oh, might have some more. Just, they're hidden.
Oh,
Why not?
yeah. I imagine that, like, do you remember when Autotune was new?
Sort of.
I imagine that level of detail, someone, maybe us, someone's gonna lean into level of detail, playing around with level of detail in a way that doesn't use level of detail to disguise like it doesn't use it to cover up a lack of detail, but leans into it instead. Leans into it as a deliberate style.
Right.
The way that some singers would deliberately use autotune not to correct their little bit when they deviate from being in tune, but instead to actually jank their voice.
Yeah.
Deliberately jank their voice from note to note.
It's always fun.
So
when
similarly,
kind of do that.
we could have a low level of detail. We could have graphics with a low level of detail that immediately that jank up to high levels of detail rather than try to smoothly transition.
Mm-hmm.
So like a tree that's far away could just be a single hexagon on a brown stick, a single green hexagon on a brown stick, and then when it's like 10 meters away, then it becomes 2 hexagons, and then when it's closer than that, then it becomes a tree. Pure paint. I just noticed
What?
that you're using the pure paint brush,
Mm-hmm.
and it hasn't run away this time.
Oh, hi, Mr. Squeak. Hi. He's kind of leaning back over his cat tree.
Aw.
I think one thing that I'm probably going to try to avoid as a stylistic choice is using the using four symmetry or four pointed stars and um, well, it's the four pointed stars mainly that I am noticing. It feels a little bit overused in a lot of the games that I'm playing. Like anytime there's like a twinkle effect, it's always like a four pointed star.
Mhm.
So I'm probably going to try and do either five pointed or three pointed stars in my twinkle effects.
Mhm.
Like five is, I want to say it's still popular, but I haven't really seen it much. The classic five pointed star.
Mhm.
And three pointed stars I haven't seen much at all. Like the four pointed star, I want to say Platinum Games, like that's the thing that Platinum Games does all the time because it's part of their logo. It's P with a four pointed star.
Mhm.
Like Splatoon has, like a two pointed star is basically a slash,
Mhm.
but Splatoon uses two pointed stars, uses slashes in their visual sparkles.
Mhm.
And I think maybe Tokyo Mirage Sessions uses five. Oh no, wait, no, it uses 4 points as well. 4 pointed stars. It has some five symmetry in its special fantasy treasure boxes.
Mhm.
Those are pentagons, I believe, pentagonal pyramids. Yeah, I don't see five pointed or 3 pointed twinklies anywhere.
Mhm. Saving this?
Mm-hmm.
I swear, I'm saving every article just because my paranoia with this program
Mm-hmm.
sometimes.
Despite it being paranoia, it is a good thing to
Mhm.
save very often.
Yep.
You've done the save early, now you're doing the save often.
Yep.
So this will be a relatively swim-heavy area.
Mhm.
We could probably map out the underwater parts on the next dev stream. Maybe have some coral. A stray treasure chest, of course. Maybe little paths of coins.
Trying to make this look organic, but at the same time a little bit different.
Mm-hmm. What sort of tree would this be?
Hmm.
I'm trying to think of like trees in our world where you can see the branches up high.
I mean, it could be anything really. Cypress, pine, oak, pecan. Well, pecan kind of wafts a little to the side, though, too.
Ah, okay. I think my dad's mom would teach us how to draw flowers. I was really only interested in drawing the symmetrical flowers, but my sister, I believe, wanted to draw everything, and she teach her how to draw trees, and she moved on from flowers to trees, and yeah, taught her all kinds.
Might add a little bit more fringe to this just to give it a little bit more of a natural flair to it.
Okay. Let's see, Cypress Tree. Just looking up different kinds of trees now.
Cypress tree, though, then again, is more like it looks like a pine tree.
I, hmm, yeah, I guess.
Then there's also the false cypress.
Hmm. There's this one. They, oh, it doesn't show what kind of tree it is. There's one that looks like a stick sticking up, and then like long branches reaching out, and then just little flat puffs of green at the ends of the branches.
Yep, that's their seeds.
It's a or shoot. I click on the image and it magnifies the image, but it doesn't lead to the page where the image was found from.
Hmm.
Here it is. Native but not natural. Okay, what is this? This is the Monterey Cypress. So the Monterey Cypress looks like, I feel like all its leaves are on top, or all its leaves are on upward facing surfaces,
Mm-hmm.
as if the rest of the tree needs to be sheltered from the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Or something like that. The gnarled Monterey Cypress is a favorite for photographers. There's only 2 native stands both in Monterey County. They're not considered endangered. As long as they grow in the coastal fog belt, it's very hardy. Oh, squeakers. What you want, squeakers? Let's see if I search up types of trees.
Oh, that's not gonna generate a result though.
Yeah.
A short result.
There's a lot of charts, and they're good because like small images will let me will let me see a variety of trees from a distance, basically. So if I can recognize something at a distance that way, then I might have a good result.
Oh, I was wondering why this isn't. Whoops.
Wrong layer?
Wrong filter type.
Ah. Hmm. It could be something like a ponderosa pine. Or maybe a maritime pine. Yeah. Yeah, it looks almost like the Google search result for a maritime pine. Or a Google search result if you search for types of trees and then look at the first result.
Mm-hmm.
Or wait, what is this one with little? Oh, there's a tree with actual puffs. The
What's that?
sassafras tree.
Mm.
Yeah, this could be like a sassafras tree.
Oh,
This would be like painting with a sponge, wouldn't it?
Kinda. I like the texture though that some of these particular ones have to offer though. Not too fo- gonna be too focused on the detail on these though.
Yeah, with them being farther out.
Yep.
Could have some low-level monsters hiding in there.
Yeah.
Something that'll give up potion ingredients.
Yeah.
I suppose one other way I could try modeling the landscape is first modeling it in miniature,
Hmm.
then gradually increasing the size up to 1 kilometer across, and adding details as I increase the size, as I gradually scale everything up. Meow meow. What y'all antsy about, meow meow? You have the zoomies? It's not hot anymore, so you have the zoomies? Snuggle kid.
Had a slight anxiety moment there where it just kind of blinked. I'm like, no, don't you dare do this to me. Okay. But it didn't. At least it better not.
Man, it's looking real good. Just imagining the characters running around and playing all over this area, swimming in the lake,
Yeah.
jumping around in the cliff in the background, jumping around the mountain in the background. The bubble clouds.
Yeah.
They really make it a magical world.
Mm-hmm. Might add a little glow effect too, because why not? Well, maybe after I do overall lighting.
Yeah.
'Cause- So, gonna work on darkening first, and
All
I'm
right.
just going to spray paint more or less. Where I particularly want it to be a little bit darker.
Okay.
Just a little. Then a little bit of the light. Probably shouldn't add too much yellow because save that for the glow effect.
Yeah. This seems like what I would do with GIMP as well. Have a darken layer and a lighten layer.
Mm-hmm.
Back when I would just practice my spheres and cubes. Oh.
I think I accidentally grabbed.
Yeah, I saw that, the little shift around.
Just a little on the rocks, but not too much. The sun's shining over a little bit of that, but maybe save some of that for the glow.
Mew Mew. Mr. Mew Mew? Hi, Mr. Mew Mew. Mew Mew. Mlam. Meow. Brr. 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 Now they're looking extra bubbly.
Yep.
The specular highlights.
I think I might just keep that on its own layer,
Okay.
so that way I don't destroy that.
Yeah.
Actually, I do like light blue. Might be a mistake going for this whole bloom thing.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like what it's doing to the highlights on the lake.
Mm-hmm.
I can see why the lighting and shading is your favorite.
Mm-hmm. Kind of get you kind of get to see the whole piece together.
Mhm.
Hold on. Beneath that, one more layer of dark.
Okay.
Just to kind of add a little bit more drama in some areas.
Drama.
Well, you know.
The tree of sadness. Sadness and solitude.
I mean, it has a cliff and grass. It's got friends. It's not alone. Let's see. Adds a little bit more.
Hmm.
To balance that glow.
Yeah. You got your lights and your darks. You got your high dynamic range, I believe they call it.
Mm-hmm. There's that little corner.
I think.
You think what?
Oh, let's see. A couple of years ago, when I moved to this place, I took a photo of Gunstar hiding in a pillow fort, and he had his paws sticking out at me. And his toe beans are not pink, but when I applied high dynamic range to the photo, or like the auto enhancement, they pinkified his toe beans. Like it was a dark photo, so it brightened the entire photo, added a whole lot of bloom, and made his toe beans very pink.
There we go. What do you think?
Yeah, I can't think of how to make this any better.
Alright.
This will be yeah, this will be an area that I will be happy to even like capture just a little bit of in a 3D model, in a 3D model of an area where the players can actually explore, climb the trees, swim in the lake, check out that hidden mountain village.
Mm-hmm. Alright. Thank you everyone for watching. Please be sure to check out QMulative's page. He has more on the game Too Many as well as other things. And keep watching whenever y'all get a chance. Every Monday, well, not every Monday, some Mondays, I play Stardew Valley with Cumulative and Phoenix Astra and D&D Geologists. And I do the occasional stream, whether it be art and or gaming, so yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Cumulative, for being a part of the stream.
Always a pleasure.
And bye.
Bye.